over 15 years. Janet is widely known for her contagious laugh, loves to have fun, and encourages others in following their dreams. She enjoys music and plays saxophone and is active in 2 local bands. Janet received her Bachelor of Arts degree in Economics and Industrial Relations from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. She is a spirited fan, wears lots of Carolina blue, and cheers for the Tar Heels. She resides, like I said, with her family in Asheville, North Carolina. Welcome, Janet.
Hey, Judy. Great to see you.
Great to see you. Now, Janet, the first thing I have to ask you, and I'm sure my viewers want to know also, if they're not familiar with the school in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, what is the Tar Heels?
That's a great question. And it goes back a long time, back to the colonial days when North Carolina was a colony. One of the primary industries at that time was making tar and pitch on the coast. And when people didn't have shoes and were just in bare feet, the tar would stick to their heels. And we were nicknamed Tar Heels. And that name is stuck with North Carolinians all this time. And the University of North Carolina actually has 16 campuses, and Chapel Hill is the main campus of the university system. And that is, the Tar Heels are the mascot for Chapel Hill. And yes, I wear a lot of Carolina blue, and I love my school and I love my Tar Heels. Go Heels!
Yeah. So my oldest daughter, her and her husband, who moved from San Francisco, did move to Chapel Hill. And when they came back to the East Coast, and so I've had an opportunity for a couple of years to be in Chapel Hill and to be on the campus. And the one thing that stands out in my mind is there's huge trees, like way 100 feet up, 200 feet up. And there were a lot of owls. And I was there looking for owl feathers. And there is, as a shaman and as a healer, I relate a lot to animals, and even the animals' feathers, the birds' feathers are very, very powerful. So yes, I was there looking for him. And no, I did not find one, unfortunately. So, but let's go ahead and begin. I do want to remind the viewers that what we're doing here is helping you. And this whole platform of Awake TV is a spiritual channel for all of us to raise our vibration, to be in this beautiful synergy energy. And we're holding the space for everyone. And it is to help ascend, meaning going from the mundane 3-dimensional to a higher vibration of 5th dimension that brings the magic of life to you very quickly. We have more peace, more joy, more bliss. It helps you to awaken more to who you already are, your authentic self. So my show is geared to help you to get unstuck, to help you when you feel like you're on that hamster wheel. You maybe have had trauma, and you know you're holding feelings of things that have happened a long time ago. And you know that because it plays out in your mind. You could be standing over the kitchen sink, peeling an apple, and now you're remembering why you're mad at Joe 10 years ago, or why you're holding a grudge against your parents, or why you're upset with a friend who said something that embarrassed you. That is called stuck energy. And that means that it caused a reaction in you, and that energy gets stuck. The flow is not going to go in your life. So no matter what you do in a specific area, you're not able to move forward because the energy is stuck. So as a coach, my expertise is to help people get unstuck, help them hold the light, and help them get to their dream, their vision of whatever they want. So when you participate in the show by being here, then we are talking about healing, helping you heal. So it may be something that's going to be addressed today that you can relate to. And it is all about ancestral healing. It's all about healing the karma. It's all about awakening and reclaiming who we are. And that is divinity. And that is awakened to that holy self within us that has everything that is needed in life to get to where you want. So I'm here to help you get there. So with that being said, that gives you a little bit more understanding. And so Janet today is a very brave, courageous soul. And I really appreciate her coming on and being vulnerable. And today's topic is about overcoming the trauma from COVID. So Janet, can you share a little bit about your experience with COVID last year?
Sure, Judy. Last year, right around July 4th, my husband was having strong fever, cough, all the classic symptoms of COVID. Went and got tested. It came back positive, and we got one of the oximeters for your finger that monitors oxygen, because from all the news reports we knew that once that cough starts, your oxygen levels tend to go down. And we were hoping he would be able to recover at home. Unfortunately, his oxygen got down into the 80s, and we called an ambulance. He went into the local hospital. He was in regular care for 10 days, and then he went into ICU, and he was on a ventilator for 10 days, and then came out of the ventilator and was released from the hospital 6 days later. What some people don't realize is especially during the first part of COVID last year, no visitors were allowed in the hospital. And I had no way to really contact anybody to get any updates. I would get an occasional phone call from a nurse, once or twice from a doctor, but the rest of the time I didn't know what was happening. And I also had COVID, but luckily my case was not as critical and I did not have to go to the hospital. But I was homesick, quarantined while he's in the hospital, struggling to breathe and fighting for his life. And what he went through was horrific. And I want to, just say, please follow the guidelines, wash your hands, social distance, mask up, stay safe. You do not want this. And now with the Delta variant, it's even worse. So the reason I'm here is I hope that my story will somehow help others that may have been through COVID. You and I can certainly relate to one another. And for those who have had loved ones in the hospital and you can't communicate, I understand, how that feels. It's a very terrifying time. And I'm happy to report that we're both doing fine now. And we both are vaccinated because neither one of us want to get sick again. But we're doing our best to stay safe. But this is the trauma that Judy was referring to. We all have different things in our lives that sometimes it's a little hard to handle on your own, and you need to reach out and have someone help you with those issues. And that's why I'm here today.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Janet, for your personal experience. And we met because can you tell the viewers how not how, but why we connected, of what you wanted my help with?
Sure. I'm in the same kind of self-improvement, self-healing coaching world that Judy is in, but we do things a little differently. And I really felt, at the term that she used is stuck. I really felt that I had this kind of trapped energy around my sickness and around my husband's illness, that it's just always there. And it kind of just weighs on you, I guess is the best way to say it. You do your best to, put your big girl panties on and go to work every day and do what you have to do. And sometimes we don't take time to heal those traumas. And that's exactly what happened to me. I still had a business to run while I was sick and while he was in the hospital. And, you do the best that you can. That's all any of us can do. But you go about your daily routine and do what you got to do. And sometimes you don't have the time or the energy to set aside and say, I really need to deal with this. I really need this load off my shoulders and out of my head so that I can clear that negative energy and move on. And when I heard about Judy's services, I was like, this is the gal I need right here. So
well, thank you.
So that's how that came to be.
So we've worked on some of this trauma, but I want to go ahead and take it a step deeper. And you volunteered graciously to help the people that are afraid of COVID. And they've also had it, and they have had a loved one maybe had it, and they know they're not emotionally, spiritually, mentally, they're not back in their game. They're not top of the world. And so we're here to hope that they too can have this breakthrough with you as you go through it. So I'm going to go ahead and begin with a prayer. And as we invite all of the creator of all there is into the pure eternal light, love of God, like I said, creator, I'm going to bring in Jesus Christ. Janet is a Christian, and I'm acknowledged, and I am. We're going to acknowledge Jesus Christ and the host of angels and spirit guides and ascended masters and all the ones that travel with us as we are inviting the ancestors who can best be a part of this as Janet is on her path, because the healing, as we know, is from her holy self. It is coming from her soul that I refer to as the Holy Spirit. So with this, through this power of intention of unconditional love, I'm requesting and receiving pure insight, wisdom, truth to assist Janet on her path of unconditional love. And I'm asking for whatever is for our highest and best good. And for the listeners, the viewers, that if they need a healing, I am asking in the name of our Creator to please provide that healing if they're open to it, to allow their soul to give them that healing. And with that being said, amen. Okay. Now we're going to specifically stay with the energy of COVID. I know that you and I have worked on going into the energy body of ages that would contribute to your reaction, how you felt, how you dealt with a huge trauma. Okay. And we, like I said, we've done that, but in this show, we're going to stay with the specific energy. So we're talking about 18 months ago, would you say? You got, what month did you get? What month did you get?
It was July of 2020.
Okay. Okay, so if you could please just close your eyes and get really centered, taking a very, very deep breath through your nose, exhaling through your mouth, releasing, letting go of anything that does not serve you. And imagine up in the cosmos that you're looking up in the cosmos and you're seeing all the sparkly stars and it's beautiful midnight blue, and you are watching a light show because the creator, the energy, the vibration is really all around us at all times. We're just not picking it up, probably, if you're not feeling it. So with this, imagine that you're watching the light, and you're bringing that light, inviting that light of Christ, that light of our Creator, the light of the eternal light, the pure light, bringing it in the purest form as you're breathing through your nose, exhaling through your mouth, letting go of any stress or heaviness, getting your body really centered, and inviting that light to ignite with the light already within you. Because, we are in the quantum fields right now. The healing is taking place in a very high vibrational energy. So with that being said, I want you to go back to July of 2020. And I want you to remember when Tim started coughing, had a fever, his oxygen was dropping, and he was going to have to go to the hospital. Where do you feel the energy in your body?
In my stomach.
Now, at that time, you have COVID, and looking back at it, can you, in that moment, where do you feel your own stuff that, oh my God, you got COVID, of everything the news media has talked about? The government has talked about it, the news media is, and they have scared you a lot. Where do you feel that energy?
In my shoulders.
Okay, now go back to Tim being an ambulance is coming for him, and you're standing there watching your life completely fall apart, of the man who has been a rock to you for over 30 years. You have a business together, the man that you love and adore, and you see this ambulance putting him in the ambulance. Where do you feel that energy of the ambulance?
I guess in the stomach, just the pit of your stomach.
Was anyone with you besides Tim?
No.
Because you had COVID.
Correct.
So nobody could come.
No.
Okay, so let's breathe again. Just keep breathing. I see you holding your stomach. I see you wanting to rock back and forth. I see, if the truth is known, you wanted to fall apart. It's like you were really beside yourself. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Go back to that feeling of feeling completely falling apart. Where do you feel that in your body?
On my lower back.
Okay. Okay, one more thing. I want you to go and just remember Tim was in the hospital, what, 8 days, 9 days, how long? 7 days?
A total of 26 days.
26 days. Go back to when you knew that your husband was put on a ventilator and you heard horror stories of people dying. Where do you feel that?
In the gut, stomach area.
Were you able to sleep those 26 days?
Believe it or not, yes. And only because COVID has such an extreme fatigue side effect that you have. I mean, you just can't keep your eyes open. You're so exhausted. I had pneumonia once in my life, and I was out of work for 2 weeks when I was in my mid-30s, and I hadn't experienced any fatigue that extreme since I'd had pneumonia. And yeah, you hardly have the energy to even get out of bed and take a shower. I mean, that is completely exhausting.
Okay.
So,
all right.
I was able to sleep, but only because I had COVID.
Okay, so now I want you to go back to the day that your sweetheart came home and you knew he was going to make it. and you knew he was going to live. And you no longer were feeling sick. Your strength was coming back, and your sweetheart is home. Where do you feel that energy?
In my heart.
Is that a good feeling or a heavy feeling?
It's a good feeling. It was a little bit abrupt in the sense that he had lost 30 pounds in 26 days. And it was a bit of a shock to see that.
Okay.
And luckily he had enough padding, he was okay. But that is a lot of weight for someone to lose in less than a month.
Yes,
so
it is.
It was a little bit shocking from the visual perspective. And then he could barely talk because of being on the ventilator. So I had a very difficult time understanding him because he could barely get enough volume from his voice to actually communicate. So that was a challenge.
Okay. All right. Now, if you could please open your eyes and look at us.
Okay.
Look at the camera.
Mm-hmm.
Or Zoom, whatever you're looking. Yeah. Okay. I appreciate your vulnerability. I appreciate you being just so honest without holding back. That takes a lot of courage. Thank you.
You bet.
So what I would like to do, if you're ready, I'd like to go in and release this trauma.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay.
Let it go.
Let it go. Okay. So what I'd like for you to do, you already know to breathe in, you know the drill. You're going to breathe in, and we're going to breathe in that. And we're inviting, like I said, we're all good to go. Let's just continue. So put a hand on your close your eyes. Now get back into taking that deep breath, remembering God is with you. That creative energy is all around you. Breathe in the golden light. Breathe in that light. You are in a very high vibration. You're in heaven. So let's breathe it in. It's one step away. It's one thought away. So keep breathing in the love and the light. And what I want you to do is to imagine that you're climbing up some stairs. You feel so good. You're running up the stairs. These are crystal stairs. It's like the stairway to heaven as you're in the quantum field where all things are possible. Into that high dimensional energy, one with all. And as you climb up to the top, you're in a circular room. It is crystal. It is beaming light in all the windows. All of your spirit guides, all of your angels, your ancestors are with you. The ascended masters. It's a beautiful place. Your guardian angel, Grace, is taking you over to the door. It's a golden door it's just light, crystallized light, liquid light. I want you to go through that energy. Now, when you go through that energy, that dimension, remember, it is like as strong and bright as the central sun, as bright as the sun, the star of the sun. And you're going to walk into the light of Christ. And right before your eyes is your love of your life, Tim. He looks a lot younger, just as you are. And you go back to the age where you met him. That first time when you had that moment as, oh my gosh, there's something about this man. He is sweeping you off your feet. He looks so young and vibrant. And at the same time, it's like you're looking at a mirror at yourself. You're young, you're youthful, strong, ready to conquer the world. There is a white horse that is behind Tim. And I want you and Tim to get on the horse. And you're going to ride together into that higher vibrational energy of wholeness, where only great, magical, perfect things can happen in your life of bliss. You both get off the horse. You go to a pond. You're looking down at the water. It's a reflection of who you are. You both turn to the sky, and all of a sudden you're seeing before you what happened that day in July. But this time you see the angels all around you, and you know you're going to be okay. And you know Tim just needs a few days off. And the ventilator is a way to keep him to rest. He's getting the best care in the hospital. Everything is working great. You're not seeing the trauma. You're just seeing like it's a story that you're reading. And you're standing there with him and holding his hand, squeezing your hand with each other, knowing you're okay. Everything is all right. So it's just going to be a memory of something that happened that felt like it was going to be over with, but instead you have a newness of life, a newness in your business, a newness in your relationship of love and devotion. So now look at each other, holding your hands with him. The day you got married, that day that you had bliss, that you knew that you were going to be a strong partner with this man. And he's smiling and looking at you, telling you he loves you. You're smiling and looking at him, telling him you love him. Hold each other, kiss, knowing that love is to last an eternity. You and him get back on the white horse. You come riding to the doorway, going into a tunnel of light, of pure healing light, as your Holy Spirit just breathes, takes it, removes it, brings you into a better place. You and Tim get off of the horse. You need to come in through the doorway, come down the staircase, get to the 3, 2, 1, back fully present into your body memory. So wiggle your toes, your hands. So that place of bliss is always with you. You know, Tim is just a thought away in the other room or in the office, wherever he is. And when you're ready, I want you to open your eyes. How are you?
Good.
Good. Okay. Anything you want to share that you experienced? If you did, you can. If not, you don't have to. It's whatever.
Well, I was able to visualize everything that you walked me through. So we got on the horse. I saw our reflection in the water. I saw the staircase and the golden door, and it was a very peaceful just moment, just very No mind chatter, no, nothing negative, all positive, just very calm and peaceful. And I could feel the love that was emanating from the light, which was great.
Perfect. Wonderful. Okay, so I have just a few questions for you.
Okay.
And it doesn't always mean that every time you have a session that everything clears up, that is released, because it's between you and God of whatever you were willing to let go. So we're going to go back and check in with your body to see if you're holding any emotion of the trauma. Okay. What parts? So what I want you to do, you're welcome to keep your eyes open or close it. Usually I ask clients to close it so they can just feel it's easier to get rid of all the distractions. But you know the drill, it's up to you. So I want you to go back to remembering when you knew that Tim was going to have to go to the hospital. Where do you feel that, or do you in your body?
I don't really feel it like I did before. There might be a tinge of it in my stomach, but not like before.
Okay. And then the ambulance, if you're looking at the ambulance, how is that? Is it lightened up, or is it heavy, or is it moved someplace else? It was in your stomach.
It's lightened up.
Okay. All right. And then what about Tim being gone? Well, being in the hospital without you, we already talked about how you felt. So the trauma, the feelings of life before you was falling apart. You didn't know what was going to happen to your business or to you during that moment in July. Can you feel any of that energy that you had felt before?
Not really.
Okay, Tim walks into the house 30 pounds lighter. Once you got through that, are you able, how do you feel? Any sensations in your body?
Just a little bit lighter in the heart area, just happy he's alive and home and recovering.
Okay. So open your eyes for a minute and wait, one more thing.
Okay.
Keep your eyes closed. When you felt like life was falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I've brought that up, but I specifically ask that. Do you feel back at that moment in July, do you feel any of that energy?
Just a little bit, not anywhere as strongly as before.
Okay, so open your eyes. When you say you're out of 10 being high, and with how I took you through the exercise, where would you be overall with the trauma of what you felt of stuck energy in your body before? Now afterwards, 10 being high, where would you be now?
I'd say I'm a 9.
So 10. Okay. So 10 is 10 to me means that trauma was really big. 0 would be no trauma. So where would you be?
Let's put it at a 1.
Okay. All right. Can you live with that right now, being at a 1?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. So pretty much you've got the trauma has moved. I will let you know that it can take 36 hours to really go through and cycle through that energy. We will revisit it because I would like it to get at a 0. It may stay at a 1 because you are a speaker and you may be needing to tell the story.
Right.
And you may need to be able to sense it for your own sake, so you don't feel like, oh God, I'm an imposter. Now, right. I don't feel that you need to do that, but I know you with your level of integrity is very high, that you don't want to portray even that much of something that isn't correct.
Right.
So I think 1's pretty good, don't you?
Oh yeah, I think it's fantastic.
Well, yeah. I will tell you that Tim received a healing today also. And you might ask him in a couple of days, you might talk to him about it. You might talk to him about your experience of healing it. And see, because when we're in the quantum fields of healing and we invited Tim there, your relationship with Tim, see if he seems a little bit lighter when you see him today.
I will.
You know, and the day on, if you know what is going on. So perfect, wonderful. And what I would like to do is just remind the viewers that down below here is Janet's information. If you want to get a hold of her, feel free to do that. And also make sure you go to the show page, my show page, that gives you 2 links. And there's a link for you if you would like to be considered as a guest to have your own breakthrough. And remember, the intention is to help many more people besides you. We're wanting to help the world. And so we're hoping today, if anyone had COVID, knew someone in COVID or in the hospital or suffered themselves, that you received a healing today would be a wonderful gift. Okay. And also is my website or my contact information, that if you want to get a hold of me to learn more about my services, you'll be able to go there also. So with that being said, thank you for joining us on Awake TV with the episode with Janet Nichols, the show Real Breakthroughs. Thank you very much. Namaste.